Okay, so I promised a recipe vlog, and so I'm going to show you guys my favorite way to make sea bass, which is my favorite fish. And this is 100% good for the P2 phase of Dr. Simeon's HCG diet. So here are the ingredients. We start out with about 1.5 cups of just water. This is just regular water. And then I have 1/2 cup of the Braggs Liquid Aminos. And then I have about 4 tea bags. This is oolong tea. This is an organic one. You can use any kind of oolong tea. And they come in little bags like this. And, you know, obviously they just look like a tea bag. They actually have strings attached to them. I've set the strings on fire before on my stove, so I just cut them off. And we have garlic. I just do like a really big heaping, you know, tablespoon or whatever. And then fresh ginger. So if you don't know what fresh ginger is, if you buy it at the grocery store, it looks like this. It looks like a root. And you just grab a piece of it and you kind of cut off all this brown skin. It's like almost like a potato, but I use a knife to peel it rather than a peeler. It just is easier to me. And then once it's peeled, you might get a piece like, you know, a big chunk that looks kind of like this. Now, you can grate this with a really fine grater, but it's a very fibrous root, so it gets pretty stringy. If I have the need to put it in something where I'm actually going to be eating it, I will grate it so that it's finer. But because I'm just doing a marinade for fish, I'm just going to julienne it. So that's what this is right here. It's just little julienne strips of ginger. So I like a lot of ginger in mine, so I'll cut up this entire piece and put it in there as well. But basically all you do is you take your small little pan, and I'm going to pour in the water, and then I'm going to pour in my liquid aminos, and then I'm going to put my ginger in, and I'll come back and cut the rest of that here in just a minute. And I'm going to put my garlic in, just kind of stir it around. And then I take my 4 tea bags, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put those in as well. And I'll just put this on the oven and bring it to a boil. And once it's boiled for 2 or 3 minutes, I'll just let it sit. I'll take it off the burner and just let it sit for a couple hours until it cools off. And when it's done, I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, so this is the Chilean sea bass, and normally when you buy it like at Whole Foods, they're really pretty fillets, but you'll also pay like $25 a pound at Whole Foods. So I buy it actually at the Asian grocery store, and it's like, I think they must saw them in rounds, and this is kind of what they look like. And I'm trying to get up so you can kind of see their flesh, but anyways, so it's just a different look to the fish, and it's round like this. I don't weigh it beforehand. I weigh it after I cook because there's like the center vertebrae here, and then there's some bones along the middle ridge. And so basically what I do is I kind of pull it away once it's cooked from here along this line, and then the skin, it's like got this layer of gelatin or fat right around the layer of skin, so it just peels right off. So I'll show you that once it's done cooking. But this is what the sea bass fillet looks like. And like I said, at Whole Foods you'll pay like 20 something, $23, $24 a pound, but when you buy it at the Asian grocery store, I pay like $13.50 a pound. So this is 3 big pieces. It freezes beautifully once it's cooked. So the only thing is, when you freeze it, you want to make sure you just thaw it out before you put it in the microwave, or you can just kind of put it in a Tupperware and then float it in some warm water until it heats up, and it tastes just as good as fresh. So anyways, I have these ready. They're just thawed out, and when you buy it at the Asian grocery store, they're frozen. And then I've taken my marinade with all the ginger and garlic and just put it in a Ziploc bag. And I'm just going to take these pieces of fish and put them down in the Ziploc bag, and then I actually am going to let it just kind of marinate overnight. So I know that seems like a long time, but I think that sea bass is a little bit of a thicker fleshed fish, and it really doesn't actually overpower it. So I'll come back tomorrow and bake this up for you. All right, there you go. Bye. Okay, so the fish has been marinating overnight and it looks like this, and all the little specks are just like little pieces of garlic. And I flipped it over about halfway through so that it got marinated on both sides. And I've got the oven set for 425 degrees. And so I'm going to go ahead and put it in. You're going to bake it for about 15 to 20 minutes. Because I'm doing 3, it will probably take more like 20 minutes, but I don't get it too very close to the broiler. A lot of times at the end, I'll put it closer to the broiler so it gets a little crispy on the top, but I think it's just a personal preference. So I'll come back in about 20 minutes and show you the finished product. And this is the finished product. Once it's done cooking, I did it for about 21 minutes. And I'm going to get up close to see. You can see it starts to kind of pull away just a little bit from the center bone. And you can even like put your fork in there and just try and flake it. And if it starts to flake, then it's done. So what I'll do now is I'll actually take the skin off. And as you can see, you can just put your fork in it and pull it away. See, it just pulls right away, and you can just pull it right off usually. And I take a little bit of time trying to keep the fish intact. But once I take this off, I weigh it out, and 3.5 of the raw product usually comes out to me, when I have weighed it in the past, to about 2.8 ounces once it's cooked. So I will show you the finished product, and it's delicious. I'm looking forward to it. Alright, and there's the finished product. I get real fancy with my paper plates, but I've got my fish with some lemon wedges and some fresh asparagus that I've just steamed, and I'm going to enjoy my lunch. And there it is. Bye.